Yeah, it's 19 minutes past 9 o'clock. Good morning, breakfast show. We have three guys in the studio, and they are from the Telford Mining Memorial Fund. Do you want to say that? Because I've got all flustered on that one. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you nudge him. He's useless, he is.
He's a typical electrician. He's asleep.
So let's introduce yourself. First of all, is it Telford Mining Memorial Fund? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Cliff. Good morning, Cliff.
Good morning.
How are you?
Okay, so far, a bit cool, but the coffee's good.
Good, because I made it. He's creeping. Okay, Malcolm.
Morning.
Morning, Malcolm. How are you?
Getting better, thank you.
Jolly good. And finally, Stuart.
Good morning.
I got a minion called Stuart. He's only got one eye. Have you seen the minions? Stuart, Dave, and yeah. Okay, so yes, let's do the introduction. So you've been down the mine, guys. You've been down the mines.
Yes.
So how many years have you been?
I did 35 years at Granville and at Colliery in Cannock called Littleton.
Right. And it must have been hard work. What about you, Cliff? How long have you been doing it?
I was only a young boy, only did 18 years till the pit shut, then ventured to life offshore.
Oh, right, okay. And Stuart with the one eye.
Yes, I did 27 years, the same as Malcolm, at the Granville Colliery till 79, and then we transferred to Littleton.
Right, okay. So Littleton, that sounds like quite a big... Is that bigger than Granville?
Very much bigger, yes.
So where is Littleton?
It was at Cannock, a place, Huntington, just outside Cannock.
Oh, right, okay. So there must be miles and miles and miles of things underground then. Little holes that you keep filling up.
Well, no, the little holes fill themselves, but Littleton was a very big colliery, and that when we were there, at one time, there was over 44 miles of roadway, open, underground.
Wow, 44 miles underground. Yeah. Crikey. Mine car does 26 miles to the gallon, so what's that? It cost me about 25 quid just to run round it. So, yes, coal was huge, wasn't it? Massive coal was. It was everything, wasn't it?
It was during the Industrial Revolution, and that's one of the main reasons why Industrial Revolution kicked off in Shropshire, in Coalbrookdale, because Abraham Darby discovered that one of the local seams, a seam of coal called the Clod Coal, was best for making coke. It was a low sulphur content, so it was good for making coke and was quite usable for what he was making at the time.
Yeah. So, Cliff, tell me how important coal was to Shropshire.
Well, it was part and parcel of the many minerals that we used to do the Industrial Revolution, fired off the iron industry. When you look at the minerals in Shropshire, you've got the limestone, the coal, the ironstone and the clay. All products you need to produce iron. And Abraham Darby utilised the minerals to make his product, as you know now, iron and the famous Iron Bridge.
Yeah, I mean, talk about iron and steel and that, but is this the reason why we've got no steel factories now? Because we don't produce coal, is that right? Or
no, I think one of the main reasons we haven't got steel production is financial. There is coal.
Yeah, but it must cost more money to bring the coal into the country than it does to mine it, So.
No, it didn't. That was proven during the last miners' strike. The country carried on because of imported coal.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big turning point, wasn't it, for the coal industry, the strike, so...
One of the big things you've got to realise, that we produced good quality, deep mine coal. Now then, you look at the likes of Germany, France, Poland and even Russia. Their industries were massively subsidised by the government. So on a level playing field, we were by far the best at producing and the cheapest, but we didn't have the subsidy. So therefore, market forces, we're going to go for the cheapest. And even now, you look at the quality of the stuff you get in the country, it's rubbish.
Yeah, what people didn't realise was for every tonne of coal that we wound up from underground, we had to pay a levy to the nuclear power to get rid of their waste.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's very dirty nuclear. It's more dirty, I think, coal for the environment than coal is because of the waste with nuclear. So, yeah, I don't know. We need to do clean energy, don't we? That's the way forward, I think, for the energy front. But talk to me, Stuart, tell me, What minerals? What minerals were mined out of UK mines? What was the biggest mineral? Obviously, coal was the biggest, but what was the second biggest? Do you know?
Well, ironstone was produced a lot, and one of the reasons why the iron industry declined in the Coverdale or in the Telford area was because the entrepreneurs didn't invest in their iron industry, so they weren't mining ironstone. Therefore, they didn't need coal to produce iron. So the industry died off in this area and expanded in other areas because these entrepreneurs in the other areas were investing in technology.
Right.
And I'm about the only company that did any investment around here, and we're talking about the 1870s, 1880s, was the Littleshall Company.
Right, yeah, that's a huge company around here, wasn't it? Well, it's getting smaller all the time, isn't it, Littleshall? Yeah. So, yes, foundries and stuff, huge.
Well, bear in mind, with Littleshall, it was an engineering works in its own right. Not only did it make or develop mines, but it made the steam engines for the winding, for the pumping, for the ventilation. It also made steam engines for ships, as well as its own locomotives. And it was, in its own world, a major engineering company. But, well, unfortunately, it's gone now, but... yeah, there is one last example of their engineering. That's at Pleasley Colliery. They've still got the original Littleshall Company winding engine there, which is steam driven.
Right, okay. Stuart, tell me about families. Were you involved with a big mining family?
No, my family were not mine. I was the first of my family into the mining industry, and then my two brothers followed me in. My father worked at Joseph Sankey's when it was before JKN. Yeah, I went there. I enjoyed it. I went as an apprentice, 16-year-old apprenticeship, not like the modern-day apprenticeship now. We served our 4 years. The coal board was very, very good at educating people that wanted to go forward. A lot of difference in those days was when we took our exams, we had to pay for them ourselves. And if we were successful and passed, the coal board gave us the money back.
Right, so if you're a failure, you had to pay for it.
Yeah, very good incentive. But if you wanted to get on, the coal board was very, very good with its education and schooling.
It must have been very difficult because I know money was totally different in them days. It was a very iconic era, wasn't it? You had to use everything you used, like fat for cooking meat, you say, for dripping sandwiches and so on. And with the coal side of things, surely you must have used every aspect of coal. I know you used the dust as well, even, didn't you, for some things?
Well, they did from Builders Power Station. The fly ash from there went to make bricks.
Fly ash, is that what it's called, is it?
That's the waste from
See, I didn't even know that, so you've learnt me something really popular there, so fly ash. So
they made bricks, mixed with cement, and made bricks, building blocks and what have you. And also that cool. Waste was used a lot before they discovered that they could make bricks and that for it. The waste was used to repair roadways and things like that.
Oh, right, okay. They found a use for everything, didn't they, in them days?
And it was also used when the coal board had to look at the effects of limestone working around Littleshall. A lot of that was infilled along with cement to support various areas around Littleshall village.
Stuart, what was your job down the pit? What did you do?
Well, when I served my apprenticeship at 18, I went on to the coalface to do my coalface training, which consisted of 100 days basic plus 40 days apprenticeship. And then I went to work in the development heads with 4 great guys, and I spent 2 or 3 years in the development heads, driving new roadways, 16x12s, to get into the new seams, the new areas. And then I went on to the coalface, and I worked in what we called the stable, which was a little hole, probably 6 foot high or 4 foot high, depending on which seam we were working, but 12 foot wide, and we would drive that in advance of the coalface with boring, blasting and hand filling, and we'd fill that out to keep the conveyors in advance of the coalface.
Wow, it must have been difficult, really difficult conditions. What about you, Malcolm?
Well, I went down the pit when I was 16. We weren't allowed underground. I weren't allowed to work underground until we were 16. So I went on the mechanical staff, just as a tool bag carrier. I wasn't an apprentice. I was just helping out. And then one of the jobs I did then was rope splicing. Me and another bloke were in charge of all the haulage ropes underground, and we had to maintain them and repair them and what have you. And then I went on the face, did my coal face training. The old-fashioned way, the old shovel and pick method. These two youngsters here had none of that. But
oh yes, you did.
Yeah, I know you did. Like Cliff said, or Stuart, the coal board are very good. Their education program was very good, and I followed it on after I left school. I followed on through different courses, Open Gates Tech, Wellington Tech. I went to North Staff Polytech, which is now the university, and got an HNC. With that and a legislation paper allowed me to be a supervisor, and I finished up as a senior overman, and I was in charge of the colliery on afternoons.
Okay, Cliff, what about you? What was your job?
Well, I started at 15 as an electrical apprentice. You do your basic underground training, 28 days, and then you're underground all the time then with an electrician, and you're taught your trade. 18, you go do your face training. I was lucky, I sampled both hand filling and mechanised, half and half. Yeah, finish your time, and then you smack straight onto a face, and that's your face till it's, well, from development to end, till salvage. I've done a wee bit of development work. I did a fair bit on the North East Loco Road, which was a drivage of about 1,800, 1,900 yards. But as already been said, education-wise, yeah, you're taught lots of things academically, but on the other side of it, you get down there with the guys, and you're taught what's going on down there, Mother Nature, how to work the seams, what to look out for, and it is an education in itself that you know, you can't write down.
What do you have to look out for?
Well, for argument's sake, yeah, face conveyor stops for whatever reason. Yeah, have a listen. Now, if you've got wooden supports, you'll hear them maybe yielding, a bit of a creak on them, or you'll hear a thump in the background, or maybe just down the road a bit, and you know that the weight from above you is coming on. So you know roughly which way the weight's coming, where to put supports, or where not to be. That's one thing. Other aspect, yeah, you learn about mine gases. You learn the safety of using a lot of equipment down there, which is not in the handbooks, but it's something that is taught you by the guys you're working with. And as I say, it's an education that you can't write down.
Here's a quick question. I've been meaning to ask this question. They say that children were employed in the pits. Is that correct, or was that just a myth?
No, that's correct. Children in the 1800s, early 1800s, they weren't just children, they were families. The whole family worked down the pit. The children were took down because there was nobody else to look after them. And they would act as opening doors, which allowed the ventilation to take its correct route around the mine. But children, yes, they were used and they were abused, and the conditions for them was absolutely awful.
Oh, that's really sad to hear.
What do you think of it? You didn't have any creches or childcare or nurseries, so yeah, if the entire family was working underground, which included mother, yeah.
To be honest, I think when I think about it, it'd do my son good to get down the pit and work, because all he does is sit on his Xbox all day.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Paul, they weren't children of 7 or 8. In 1840, they set up a commission to look at children working in industry.
Right, okay.
And they visited one of the incidents. They visited a colliery at Hills Lane at Madeley, and they found a 4-year-old boy.
Jesus.
The manager of the colliery, or the person taking the team round, claimed that there were no children on the ground, but this lad's father spoke up and said, "Look, my son's in, he's 4." But that was eventually, due to this commission, that was stopped.
Well, you can't even imagine the coal dust on that little child's lungs, can you?
Well, I can't. I've read of instances where children were killed, particularly a 9-year-old boy from Beverley at Open Gates. And I just can't help think of the other children present to witness the incident and to see how things were dealt with.
Yeah. So, Stuart, I'm going to ask my question to you because you're very quiet. He's sitting there very quiet, isn't he, eh? He's just keeping He's just keeping an eye on things. Get it? Eye on. Never mind. Right, Stuart. It leads me to this question: were there many deaths and were there many accidents in the pits where you worked?
Yes, I can remember the first major accident I was called to. I was a 19-year-old lad still serving my apprenticeship, and I was called out to an amputation. It happened on 403's loader point. Any ex-Granville men will know that. And it was an amputation, so you just get on and deal with it. It's afterwards when you sit down and think what you've done.
Yeah.
I've dealt with a couple of amputations at Littleton, and sadly at Littleton we did suffer 3 or 4 deaths in the time we were there. And unfortunately, looking back now, with what my knowledge is now, all of those could possibly have been avoided.
Yeah, things were different when the safety aspect. I mean, I think safety's too much nowadays, though, isn't it? It's a bit over too much safety.
We go over the top. We mollycoddle. There's too many of these do-gooders of society nowadays. I tend to think it's nothing to do with mining, but in years to come, the local youth of today won't have any idea how to do anything because their parents won't show them. They're not allowed to go and help out to do anything. And practically wise, all they're doing is, as you said, sitting there twiddling their fingers and thumbs.
Yeah, definitely. I try do the washing up. Never does the washing up. Never does. He says, "Do you think I'm your slave?" I said, "Well, I'm your slave. I have to cook your dinners, do your washing up, move your dirty washing and stuff, and it's just amazing."
Don't they ask how much you're going to pay them?
Yeah, it's great.
That's what I was going to say, Paul. Remember when we were working underground, we were officials.
Yeah.
We got a certain amount of control over the money people earned.
Yeah.
So we had got a certain amount of control.
Wow, I wish I had that control in this job. That'd be ace.
People don't
Well, it's only you do.
Exactly.
There's a trainee down the pit. If you back-answer one of the instructors, you probably end up with a shovel across the back of your head.
Yeah.
We accepted it. We got on with life, and that was the way we are. But there's too much mollycoddling of people nowadays.
Yeah. I'm going to ask a question now because my granddad worked at Granville. And Jack Barber. Do you know Jack Barber?
Yes, I think I can remember the
he unfortunately died now.
In relation to Albert?
Yes, he is, yes. Albert's my great-great-uncle, yeah.
Yeah, Albert Barber.
Yeah, Albert, yeah. That's correct, all from the same family, yeah. And he got buried on 2 occasions, my granddad, and it damaged his back because he was buried in an awkward position. But he's very lucky because you guys rescued him. And, and he had a lot of problems with breathing because of the coal dust and stuff with later life. He lost the use of one of his lungs and he damaged his back for being buried. I mean, he got a lot of money for it, don't get me wrong, it was great, new car and everything for me. But, was there a lot of cave-ins in Granville? I mean, I certainly know of 2, so...
It happened, but the training scheme was very good and people were taught how to deal with it and how to look out for these dangers. A lengthy period of training, so you're familiarised with the conditions and what to look out for.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times when people got buried or when they got injured, was they didn't watch their backs or they didn't do things right. They're cutting corners and things like that. And this is probably why in later years youngsters were getting injured because they hadn't seen these types of accidents.
Yeah,
the accidents had been cut out, and the youngsters didn't see the results of these accidents, and so they were taking risks, and they got caught out. I
mean, I'm talking now a long time ago. It was probably 1920s, maybe 30s.
Yeah, but remember that period of time they'd have been using wooden supports. Yeah, and there's usually 3 feet between any set support. So you've got a possibility there of a roof breakdown. But in modern day times with the face chocks and systems that they've got in place now, they cover a greater area of roof and very little gap between them, so anything falling on you is minimal. We did used to have coal burst off the face with weight problems or gas, but that was few and far between, and 9 times out of 10 you were a good 3 foot away from it anyway.
Yeah. So so my family do come from a coal background in the Granville, so my dad worked down there as well. So
Well, I can tell you 1 or 2 stories about Uncle Al, but
go on then.
We'll leave that till...
It's not airable, get it?
Well, also, one point I wanted to make when you're talking about the 1920s, they hadn't got cap lamps or lights and illuminating, no illumination at all. All they'd got was probably a candle. Now, I can't imagine how they worked, how they could examine the roof or keep an eye on the roof with a candle. So there was likely more actions.
Yeah, unfortunately, Uncle Albert died of a heart attack, so yes. I remember he had a Toyota. Do you remember his Toyota? I bet you don't, do you? No. He was quite chuffed with that because he'd never had a decent car in his life. Yeah, he worked down the pit pretty much most of his life. So
Albert worked in the pit bottom. He worked with me all afternoons.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wicked.
And his wife used to work in the canteen as well, didn't she?
Yeah, I don't know. That's long before my time, but I do remember Uncle Albert because obviously he was more of an uncle to me mum than he was to me. Yeah. But yeah, I used to go around his house and his daughter, and not his daughter. It's gosh, what was her name? Sandra. Do you remember Sandra?
What was his daughter?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, Sandra. I haven't seen her for years. Sandra. She moved down south somewhere. And I've seen her for many years. Gosh,
she came back from South Sandra. She actually lives in Market Drayton now. Cause I met her about 2 years ago.
Oh, does she? You haven't got contact? Because I bet she'd love to see me again. So that would be lovely. Cause
we'll talk about that after.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's wicked. Because I've been after Sandra. I haven't seen for years.
We charge for a dating agent.
Okay. Brilliant. Right. Okay. So let's have a look at what questions. What's it like in the pit? Dangerous working conditions. We've worked pretty much on that. So let's go through each of you and find out what it felt like to you. I mean, you all said you go back tomorrow, so because it was great fun. What about Stuart? What was it like for you?
I enjoyed my work down the pit. It's the camaraderie that we had between each other. The feeling. We went down on the cage, and the cage used to drop us down around about 28 foot a second. I mean, you'd pay £1 for that ride at Alton Towers. It was quite nerve-wracking some days. And then the train, what we call the paddy car, that would take us in. And at Littleton, we were sort of nearly 5-6 miles underground. Granville wasn't so far. But when you're on the coal face and the change running, we all got on with our grafting. We all worked. We had the banter. A lot of the banter was sitting on the train going in, because you'd spend 20 minutes on the trains, and if the conveyor stopped, then you'd have the banter. And some of the banter, it's quite extreme sometimes, but it was all in good fun. We had our heaty moments, but when we came out of the pit at the end of the day, we were all the best of mates. But conditions, what you made them, it's like Malcolm said, you're looking after number one. You're looking after you covering your own backs. And I would certainly go back tomorrow.
Malcolm, what was it like for you?
Well, similar to Stuart's. My job varied, although the last job I had, like I said, I was in charge of the colliery. So every day, every shift varied. No one day was the same. So the job didn't come mundane or boring. And there was always something to get involved with, and you had to make decisions and control the pit and control the men, which I accepted, and like Stuart, I'd do it again if I had to. And I did encourage my son to go down. And he was, if anything, he was one of the people that lost out when the pit shut.
Yeah.
He was a good lad, very strong, good at his job. Was always willing to work over. But he didn't. He wasn't old enough to do the full face training, so he didn't make the big money. But he would have done if the pitch. So them are the people that lost.
So you earn more money on the face bit, on the face, yeah.
Yes, the general work of the face man, because they usually. No, a lot of the big earners were on development.
Oh, okay.
Making new
so
roads.
Like Stuart.
No.
Loads of money.
Don't tell the wife.
Well, I usually ended. A lot of it's contract work, so it was depending on the person negotiating the contract, and usually the people making these new roadways, driving new roadways, they had the best contracts and made the most money.
Cool.
But also the way the face workers then earned a good amount. But we as officials, senior officials, did earn more than the facemen.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I always said I was paid for what I knew, not for what I did.
Well, good job I don't get paid that way. Cliff, what was it like for you?
Well, I did a 5-year apprenticeship there as electrician and was looking after the face gear. When you think that, you've got power down there, it's not just lighting, it's machinery. Voltage at 3,300 volts through a transformer to 650 volts. And you're looking after face conveyors, coal cutters, shearers. Yeah, in between that, when you've got problems or if there's any delays on the face, if they want to move supports over, you get in with the chockers. Again, with lunchtime, you used to have 20 minutes for a break. If the guys on the coal cutter or the disc shearer were cutting at the time, you turn around to those and say, OK, you go and have your break. I'll take the machine down the face while you have a break. So we all worked together, looked after each other, and to me it was a great experience, and it's something that I've never come across in the industries I've worked since being out of the pit, to have a working relationship with your workmates like that at the pit. It was somewhere else.
Yeah, there's no backstabbing down the pit like there is in industries now.
No women neither.
No. But like Cliff said, we were all there for each other, and with the Granville, approximately 600 men when I worked there, and we all knew each other. We knew each other's families, and we used to talk. But when we moved to Littleton, it was a bit of a culture shock because Littleton Colliery was over 2,000 men underground.
Oh, crikey!
And we worked in 3 different areas, so we had 3 trains in the morning, and it used to take 25 minutes to get all the men down the pit. So it's quite an achievement. We wouldn't get to the coal face till about 10 to 8 in the mornings, because the train would take us in 3 miles, and then we'd have to ride the conveyors and then walk the rest.
Okay, guys, we've run completely out of time. We're about a minute behind time now. Tell me about Telford Mining Memorial Fund. What's it about?
Well, that's one of the ideas we had when we got together. Originally, we got together to talk to school children, and then it dawned on us that there was no mining memorial in Telford. We'd been to other places like Ainsford and Rudsley and Brownhills, impressive monuments they've got there. We'd got nothing in Telford, so we thought it's time we had one. So now we're trying to raise funds and raise interest to see what we can do. We've yet to have a word with the council. We've got a meeting with the council next week. Because there's no point in us going on raising money if we've got nowhere to put it at the council.
Yeah, how do we pay you any money if anybody wants to pay you money?
Any way they can.
So have you got a crowdfunding page? Have you got a PayPal page, anything like that?
No, we have got a bank account.
Okay, that's good. That's useful, that is.
And it's based in Newport at Barclays. Cliff's the treasurer.
Okay, so if I get Cliff's phone number and anybody can phone you, yeah? We won't put it out on air because you'll have all the girls after you, Cliff.
I have no problem now.
I doubt it.
Listen to him with confidence over there. I doubt it. Guys, it's been fantastic having you in the studio. It's really brilliant to listen to this history because it's a huge part of Telford, and we've had some, big minds. I mean, I don't remember much about. I was only a kid. Uncle Albert. I remember Uncle Albert very, very, very vaguely because I was a kid. I remember he's very airy. He had a very airy chest. I do remember that bit. Don't know why I remember that more than anything.
He also worked at Madeley Wood, Albert did.
That's correct, yeah. That's when my mum was born, Madeley. Yeah. So, a big Madeley family, definitely. Yeah. And, yes, I haven't... It's been years. Auntie Dot.
That's it.
Auntie Dot. Me Auntie Dot. Yeah, she was a big woman. She could cook a cake, though. Wow, she could cook a cake. So, guys, thank you very much for coming to the breakfast show. Really appreciate it. I'll get some contact details from you, and we can keep everybody posted on my pages. So you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, thanks very much for having us all.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Stuart.
I must say that we do use a lot of mining terms, and we apologise for that.
No, that was brilliant, because that slack thing, whatever it's called, what was it called?
That's we meet. That's how we talk. And
that was great. I just thought it was dust, but obviously it's not dust, is it? What's it called again?
Slack.
Black slack, wasn't it, or something like that?
Fly slack.
Fly slack.
Fire something, was it?
Fly.
Firefly.
Fly. F-L-Y.
Fly.
You forgot, haven't you, again?
He forgot.
You
said it. You wonderful word. Fly something, wasn't it?
We've got other words as well.
All right. No, don't go there. Don't go there. It's radio. I've got a licence to keep. Right, you guys, thanks very much. Got to say thank you very much to Stuart with one eye. Thank you, Stuart. Keep an eye on him. I've got to say thanks to Cliff, who likes black coffee, and also thanks to Malcolm. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure having you on the Breakfast Show. An absolute pleasure.
Nova FM Breakfast.
With the Abbey Window Company of Newport.
The Chicken Cottage of Lawley Square. Taste the secret of our delicious tender chicken to eat in or take away. Try our finger